A busy night of severe weather in the Central Plains, and it looks like it's only going to get worse in the next couple of hours. Plus, the risk for severe weather will spread eastward over the next couple of days, and that could include parts of the Northeast and Mid Atlantic states and the South Atlantic states, too, with some showers and thunderstorms later this week. Actually, there are some in the South right now that we're going to talk about. That SPC might put up a watch box for me here in North Georgia. So let's get to it tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Brought to you by Tempest by Weatherflow. Get that revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. Pretty handy to have when there's severe weather around. Easy to install, and you monitor it on your mobile device. The link is on the descriptor to this podcast. Use the coupon code for anything you purchase from the Tempest website, and that coupon code is Spring 2024. Use it, and they will give you
20, excuse me. I was going to say 20% off. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, no. Uh,
it's 10,
10%.
10%.
10% off. Ladies.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we've got a very busy night of severe weather in the Central Plains. David Schwartz on the chat board is posting up warnings that have been going out from Weather Service offices there. Thank you, David, for doing that. And we've got. Yeah, it's not often you see a high risk, Joe, but they had a high risk. Forgot to turn my light on. Uh, the SPC has a high risk up for tonight in Oklahoma and parts of southernmost Kansas. But we should also, we'll show you the maps. It's a fairly large area. Usually, enhanced risk to me is like, okay, need to pay attention here. So, the enhanced risk area covers a lot of geography, and the severe weather extends from South Dakota all the way down into Oklahoma.
The area of high risk, according to SPC, encounters or encompasses a population region of approximately 1.9 million people. That includes places like Oklahoma City, Wichita, Kansas, and we'll show you in a moment the radar from Oklahoma City, and it shows that a fairly solid, concentrated line of thunderstorms is indeed heading in that direction. So, what else can I say except prepare for the worst, Oklahoma and Kansas, and hope for the best because it is going to be a rough next few hours out there.
Yeah, I put up the SPC's map right now, so there looks like there's three working tornado watches that are in effect, and one that is squarely in that moderate and high risk zone. But the other two are actually in the enhanced and go up into the slight risk, and then we've got a severe thunderstorm watch on the northwest extension of that slight risk that goes through South Dakota and even into just to the North Dakota state line. The other thing I want to point out is uh, there's this finger of marginal risk across Tennessee, northern Georgia, northwestern South Carolina, and southwestern North Carolina. And a little while ago, um, let me just see if it's still up here. There was a mesoscale discussion. Um, Hold on, hang on just a second. I had it here before, and it looks like uh, it's not there anymore because they run so many different things here. But there was a mesoscale discussion concerning uh, the area from northern and northeast Georgia, western South Carolina, southwestern North Carolina, and eastern Tennessee that they were 40% chance that they could be putting up a severe thunderstorm watch in that zone. And 22 minutes ago, they have an area here. This is, let's see where this is. This is for portions of western and central Iowa. Okay. An 80% chance that they're going to issue a tornado watch for portions of western and central Iowa. Severe threat will increase this evening. Tornadoes, severe gusts, and large isolated hail. And I'm sorry, isolated large hail. For some reason, I flipped those two words. So a new tornado watch may be coming out uh, in the next hour or so. So we'll be monitoring SPC for that. And it looks, Joe, like the risk areas, just to jump ahead, since we've got the risk areas up, and then we'll go to the radars. Tomorrow, they've got a slight risk covering much of the Ohio Valley and an enhanced risk in northwestern Ohio, northeastern Indiana. And that is an area of 10%. And so that's EF2 to EF5 tornado risk in that hatched area. And then we'll go to day three. Day three is Wednesday. They've got marginal risk up to almost to Albany in upstate New York, cutting across Long Island in half and then going south from there into South Carolina. But they have a very large area of slight to an enhanced risk in the lower Ohio, the middle Mississippi, the lower Mississippi, all the valleys, and the Tennessee Valley. So that Wednesday could be a very busy, severe weather day. It's all been in the plains. So for the first time or in quite a while, and in some places, maybe for the first time this season, we're seeing a big severe weather risk on Wednesday shifting eastward. And then on Thursday, day four in their long range, they've got a slight risk all the way up to just about to Route 195 in central New Jersey, from there south to Georgia. So it's going to be busy this week for sure in the land of severe weather.
In that area on day three, don't be surprised if, when we finally get to day three, when we finally get to Wednesday, that will be encompassing a zone of moderate activity. I'm not going to say high because high is, what we're seeing right now is so unusual, so anomalous. But certainly, I would think that Wednesday we'll be seeing an area of moderate activity inside of that enhanced zone that is being outlined right now. So it's pretty amazing, and let's just hope that we don't see too much in the way of fatalities or too much in the way of major scale destruction from these storms over the next 2 or 3 days. It's really going to be one for the books, Joe.
Yep. Okay, so load up the radars and get going. You can maneuver around because there's a lot to show with all these uh, boxes that are up and everything else. So while you're doing that, I'm going to monitor.
And you also have to give me sharing capabilities.
I did. I
Oh,
did.
all right.
I will be monitoring Tornado HQ for any uh, watches and warnings. And I just want to say, right off the bat here, it's 7:45 p.m. Eastern time, which means that um, if you're watching this later on tonight, or maybe first thing tomorrow morning, it's obviously dated. So be sure that you go to weather.gov to for all the latest weather information. You don't want to get dated stuff. All right, Joe had to step away here for a moment, so you know what? And I've lost control of the screen here. So
Yeah, here I am.
okay,
I'm back.
all right,
I'm
he's
back.
back. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's fine. The phone rang. I couldn't see where Renata was, and I wasn't sure whether or not she was available, but she did pick up. So there we go. So this is from Oklahoma City, Twin Lakes area,
All right,
Oklahoma.
we're seeing you full screen there, Joe.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Hang on. Let me just. I guess I'll have to stop share for a moment.
Right.
All right. So, and go here. And let's see. OKC. All right. So, can you see that?
Yes.
All right. So fantastic. So I'm going to broaden the view here so that everybody has a better view of this. This is from Oklahoma City / Twin Lakes, which is in the middle of your screen, TLX. And as you can see, bearing down from the north and west are clusters, areas of deep red. I mean, I presume this is about as high up on the severity scale as you can get for this type of activity. And it is beginning to edge in now from the north and west. So these storms, with the potential of bringing damaging winds and quite possibly tornadic activity, is now moving in from the north and west. And I would presume, Joe, that in the vicinity of Oklahoma City, this is a 3-hour loop. I would presume that within the next 1.5 to 2 hours, some of these storms will be impacting the Oklahoma City area. And again, these are the storms that have been looked at by the Storm Prediction Center as possibly producing damaging winds, tornadic activity, large hail. I've been hearing on various sources in the media when they refer to large hail, everything from golf ball to baseball to grapefruit to softball size hail. Needless to say, if you are outside when one of these storms passes by, and if they're dropping that kind of sized hail, you don't want to be outside. That probably could cause severe injury, if not just straight out kill you if you're hit by one of those things. So this is a very dangerous situation. Again, Oklahoma City, not yet in the area, but it's getting very close to Oklahoma City. Let's look at some places
While
that
you're
are
while you're
fast.
getting the next radar, a tornado warning is up. Was issued about 8 minutes ago for Blaine, Garfield, Kingfisher, and major counties in Oklahoma. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Okeen, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. So anyway, just wanted to get that out there.
Okay, very good. This is not too far from OKC, Oklahoma City. This is actually more to the north and west. This is for Vance Air Force Base, Oklahoma, Kegelman Field. And as you can see, this is Kegelman Field would be right smack in the middle here, and they have just gone through an area of well, it looks like actually the activity sort of diminished as it arrived there, but still, you can see that the broad area of broken severe activity is moving in from the west and northwest and is passing through Vance Air Force Base as I speak to you now. Let's look
We
at some.
we have another tornado warning that was issued 5 minutes ago, and this is for the county for Dickinson County in Kansas. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado 7 miles south of Solomon, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. So that's a new tornado warning that's been issued. I just was looking at the wide radar shot, which I'll show after you're done. I mean, this is a really active north-south line of storms. It's not just confined to one small geographic area. It's pretty extensive.
Well, you're looking right now at Wichita, Kansas, and Wichita must be breathing a sigh of relief here. Look at this, Joe. The line, which starts off relatively solid and sharp, just seemingly splits apart with one band going to the north of Wichita and the other band going to the south. And Wichita itself, well, they just may escape from not just severe activity, but mostly any kind of activity. The activity, again, splitting apart just where Wichita is. Activities, heavy activity, severe activity, well to their north and well to their south, but not in the immediate Wichita area. So that's that they're lucking out, at least in that particular zone. Now we'll go north of Wichita. Let's go up to Topeka, Kansas here, and you can see that the line. And again, this is a very broad, solid area, and you can see there's that break that we just spoke of as passing through the Wichita area. They're in the corridor or the clear. Here is where Topeka is, and Topeka looks like they are in line for some possible dangerous or volatile activity within, I would say, the next hour or so. It's moving at a fairly good clip, by the way. That's another reason why you have to fear these type of storms. Not just that they're very potent, very robust, but they're being pushed along at a rather rapid speed. And the forward speed, as in the case also with hurricanes, when you have something like this moving at a very rapid speed, that could cause, in its own right, severe conditions, damaging conditions. And again, Topeka's right here, and it looks like they may get the fallout from this within the next hour or so. Let's continue moving a little bit more to the north. Interestingly, in places where, as you pointed out, Joe, in the area of only slight risk or even just general risk, they've been seeing some rather potent thunderstorm activity. Let's go to Nebraska. Now here in Nebraska, this is for Hastings and Webster County, Nebraska. And it looks like they just a little while ago went through a narrow, albeit very sharp line of showers and storms and possible tornadic activity. That is moving quickly again off to the east. And as you can see, there's more activity off to their south and to their east as well. So this is a very extensive, you just pointed this out, Joe, this is a very extensive line, which apparently runs all the way from, well, let me try one more. This is South Dakota. South Dakota here. Let's see if they are in line for anything. The lines are not as active, not as robust, but still rather significant activity that's going through just to the west of Sioux Falls in South Dakota. So consider that this line extends from at least South Dakota area, southward through Nebraska, and down through into Kansas and Oklahoma. One more. Let's go to Killeen, Texas, Fort Hood area. Is there anything in their immediate vicinity? It doesn't look like it.
No,
So it
not
looks like
seeing anything.
most of the activity looks like it's mostly to the north and to the northeast of Killeen and Fort Hood. And let's just go quickly to our neck of the woods, the northeast, because we did have some activity a little while ago, and in fact now we see a little shower activity. It's moving through South Jersey. In fact, let me go to South Jersey. Let's go down to Frantic City. Actually, this is Dover Air Force Base, and you can see that there's some rather active shower and storm activity that's occurring over portions of northeastern Virginia, moving into portions of Maryland, and just a stone's throw away to the west and south of the Delmarva area. So there is certainly not enough, I don't think, to produce tornadic activity, but certainly enough to probably bring some locally heavy downpours and some very strong and gusty winds. So the focus, of course, is on the nation's midsection, but also there's some significant activity that's taking place in the mid-Atlantic area. One more shot. Let's go to Norfolk, Virginia, and you can see that there are some areas, clusters of heavier showers and storms moving across portions of northeastern and north central sections of Virginia and down into North Carolina. They're also seeing some significant activity as well.
Go to eastern Tennessee or western North Carolina because there's some more storms over there.
Here we go. This is for Knoxville and Morristown, Tennessee, which is in the center of your screen. And yeah, they've got, but again, it's not of the same severity or intensity of what they're seeing in the central part of the nation, Joe, but any of these areas in orange and yellow certainly look like they could produce, again, some brief heavy downpours and maybe some strong wind gusts as well.
All right. We've got a new tornado warning, and this is for Blaine and Kingfisher counties in Oklahoma. And this is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Eagle City, moving east at 40 miles per hour. This was just issued a couple of minutes ago. We're up at 7:55 p.m. Eastern time. And just to repeat what I said earlier, if you're watching this on a replay or, excuse me, overnight, obviously these radars are dated. So be sure to go to weather.gov to your local National Weather Service forecast office to get updated weather information. And here's the wide view, just to show everybody how extensive this line really is. I mean, it actually extends up into North Dakota, and goes all the way south in the eastern parts of South Dakota, eastern Nebraska, all of that connected. And you can see the hole that Joe pointed out near Wichita. The band is to the north with four severe, actually three on the last frame, three severe thunderstorm warnings. Then there's just a gap with not much happening, and then you got this other area that's once you get into Oklahoma, where you've got the working tornado warnings and a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings in play there. And here's the wider view of what's in the southeast, and you can see there are some downpours and some strong storms. Even a couple of severe thunderstorm boxes have gone up for a few places. In one in Tennessee, actually two of them in Tennessee. One's on the Tennessee-North Carolina state line, and the other one that pops up and goes away is on the South Carolina-North Carolina state line in the western part of the state. So, very,
Rich,
very,
Rich Mansky, by the way, on the chat board, taking note of the fact that some of the echo tops on these storms are up to 60,000 feet. In case you're wondering, that's 11 miles high into the atmosphere. Wow.
yeah, that's pretty far up. And the other thing is, these storms are probably not going to die out after sunset here. They're probably going to still go on during the evening and into the overnight hours. So we're going to probably be seeing a number of places that are going to be getting into severe thunderstorm and hurricane warnings in the plains here as this area continues to shift to the east. We also have some rain and even some mountain snows up in Montana. This is on the west side of a strong storm, a strong low in eastern Montana. That's the driver of all of this. And we've got some scattered showers up in the Pacific Northwest. We take a look at the satellite loop. I'm going to give this a quick refresh just to get the last a couple of new frames in there. And you can see all the lightning strikes that are going on from North Dakota right across eastern South Dakota, eastern Nebraska, through Kansas, and into Oklahoma. I mean, it's like a whip that's coming around on the backside of the upper low, which is very well defined. If you look at the rotation in western South Dakota, northeast Wyoming, that's where the upper low is sitting. And as we mentioned yesterday, this was a system that came into California as a powerhouse, weakened a bit, and then as it made the turn into the Rockies and began to lift up northward, it started to strengthen again, which is why you're seeing a lot of these severe thunderstorms that are running out ahead of it in the plains. And of course, we've got this weaker shortwave in the mid-Atlantic and southeast that's producing a lot of lightning strikes this evening in the Appalachians. So busy on both ends of the equation here. We went through SPC earlier as far as their forecast is concerned, because we're going to be talking severe weather probably every day this week. And as far as rainfall is concerned over the next 7 days, we're seeing, uh, anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to an inch, inch and a quarter uh, for much of the eastern half of the United States. And then you go into the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley, and you've got a fairly large area there of an inch and a half plus. That's on top of whatever fell during the day today. And also that extends down into Florida. Lots of precip up in Montana. We're talking 1.5 to 2.5 inches melted, and some of that is going to be in the form of snow. Here are the watches and warnings tonight. The yellows are the tornado watches. You've got flood watches up in northeastern Oklahoma. They don't have any more flood watches down in southeast Texas, which is good news for them. Wind advisories and high wind watches up for Montana, parts of Wyoming, western South Dakota. Wind advisories as you go further east. The purplish area there in South Dakota into North Dakota, that's a severe thunderstorm watch. And you've got all sorts of red flag warnings up. The whole state of New Mexico and West Texas all under red flag warnings. And by the way, up in parts of Montana and Wyoming and northwestern Montana, northwestern Wyoming, and a couple of counties in Utah, you've got winter storm warnings that are up. So it's still winter someplace in
Well,
the U.S.
Vincent Croce on the chat board says, I've concluded that New York has become the most boring weather state in the USA. And, my question to Vincent is, well, what do you want? Do you want to have the kind of conditions that the people of Oklahoma and Kansas are experiencing tonight? Do you want to have the potential threat of damaging winds and heavy downpours as they're seeing right now in portions of eastern Virginia or North Carolina? Yeah, I know. Dynamic weather is what drew both Joe and I into this business over 40 years ago. I understand that, but really, after all of these years, uh, you gotta be thankful that we're not going through what some other parts of the country are going through, because I can assure you that the people in Oklahoma and in Kansas and other places, the Dakotas, they would very gladly trade what they are going through tonight for what we have been seeing here. I mean, we had a very cloudy, a drab, an indifferent type of day yesterday, but there was no damage. It was just clouds and chilly weather and occasional on and off rain. But I really, I'm really happy that you
Well,
know
look,
that,
we
that we're
don't.
not going through. As Alan Casper once said because Alan was often accused on Channel 2 here in New York by Jim Jensen of, every time we had some kind of dynamic weather, it annoyed Jim Jensen that Alan was getting happy about that. But one night Alan said, well, when it's boring for me, it's great for all of you who are watching. Well, guess what? It's boring, as our friend Vincent Croce just mentioned. It's boring. But you know what? I'm reveling in that because I really
Yeah.
do not see
Well,
the
we get our hands. We have our hands full during hurricane season. We have our hands full in the winter months.
Oh yeah, it's like I
So
said, we're gonna. Nature always likes to share the love. If you want to look at it from that point of view, we will get our share of nasty weather between now and the end of this year, obviously. But right now, I'm happy to be in the bleachers, so to speak, and looking out and watching what's happening. The main event is taking place far, far away from here, and so far as I'm concerned, it could stay there.
Johnny Quest hits the super chat tip jar. Thank you, Johnny. He said that he says he had 3 inches of rain today. He's in northwestern Virginia in the mountains, and another 2 inches back over the weekend. So 5 inches of rain in the last couple of days. And you
Wow.
saw the radars are they're fairly loaded in Virginia at the moment, and there's going to be more coming with how this is playing out. Now, just to roll back, here's that upper low that came into California on Saturday and Saturday night, and it kind of moves eastward, weakens a little bit, and then it makes that lift, that turn up northeastward, lifting up in a negatively tilted fashion, and then starts to strengthen again. So this is where we are at the moment with a reclosed upper low in western South Dakota, northeastern Wyoming. That's where the upper low is centered. So that's a pretty powerful system that we're dealing with here, with a strengthening short wave that's rotating around it, that's triggering off all these storms. Now, over the coming days, what happens to that upper low is that it just sits there and rotates. So tomorrow, it's going to rotate a short wave further east into the Ohio Valley. So the risk area shifts to the east. And then as we move into Wednesday, that upper low dives southeastward into Nebraska, and then it holds together fairly well. So this is going to be the next trigger mechanism. This is for Wednesday. Let me just clean that up here. But that's the short wave for Wednesday. And Wednesday, we saw that the risk area was generally drawn over the Tennessee Valley, the Ohio Valley, and down into the lower and middle Mississippi Valley. So that's for Wednesday. And then come Thursday, as that shortwave swings eastward and actually a new upper low forms in southeastern Michigan, this is going to be the mechanism for the potential for some severe weather as SPC has drawn it from central and South Jersey, down all the mid Atlantic and South Atlantic states in that 15%, implied slight risk zone. We'll see what we get. We'll probably get that. I'm going to be curious to see how far north, Joe, they go with the marginal risk, because I think a case can be made that you can certainly put the marginal risk up back into the Hudson Valley on Thursday. But a lot's going to depend on where the surface low is, where exactly is the warm sector going to set up. If we track a low that goes up in western Pennsylvania into western New York, that could push the warm sector up further north. But sometimes the sort of stuff occasionally wants to get squashed a little bit further to the south, and that means you push the warm sector further south. I'm kind of leaning on the idea that maybe it'll be a little bit further north this time,
Okay, well,
which
yeah,
means you should reflexively go the other way.
right, right, exactly,
Um,
precisely.
but this is a fairly, and by the way, in the East, uh, the trough is coming out. The trough position has been in the West for the last 4 weeks. That's changing now. We're seeing the trough now, the mean trough switch into the eastern part of the United States, and you can see what happens with the Thursday Friday trough goes out, and another one dives into the east for Saturday and Sunday. That's a chilly upper air for this weekend. The way the GFS is portraying it.
Yeah. Well, in fact, it looks like for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be seeing either near or below normal temperatures, with the exception, of course, of the next couple of days. In fact, temperatures on Wednesday could soar well into the 70s to near 80. But also on Wednesday, Joe, I think that'll be the time for us here in the tri state area to be concerned with potential severe weather. We may be looking at. I know that the National Weather Service or the Storm Prediction Center has placed us in a zone that suggests we might see some severe activity. But I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit more than what they are suggesting on Wednesday for us,
Right.
especially in the day and Wednesday evening. But
By the way, watch this.
you may see some thundery weather.
I don't know. I've got one screen that's running a little bit behind. Um, Hang on a second. I'm going to give this a refresh so this way it's caught up. But I'm just running the upper air map here, and I'm noticing that uh, going out, you get these troughs in the east for this weekend and early next week, and then they temporarily pull out. But look at this beauty that drops down around day 10 and day 11 on the GFS. Uh, what month is this? You know, it's May. But who knows if this is going to be exactly the way the model's showing it. But something like this, depending, because we are going to be in a bit of a warmish ridge position ahead of it for a day or two. This might be something. This might be an interesting trigger mechanism, and we're talking about a week from next Thursday and Friday. So we're pretty far out here in the long range. But if this were to verify, I guarantee you there's going to be severe weather risk in the eastern part of the United States with an upper trough like this. And that pulls out and another one drops in right behind it. So um, you had to wait for May to get into an upper air pattern that would have been far more interesting for winter weather lovers in a month like January or February.
And Dr. Cohen, Judith Cohen, his last tweet or last X, whatever you want to call it, he says it appears that last gasp high latitude blocking slash high pressure ridging linked to a disruptive polar vortex posthumously. I guess he's referring to the corpse of the last polar vortex that was on the maps. That all of that is helping to support a cooler weather pattern predicted for both northern Europe and also for the eastern United States over the next couple of weeks. It's like I just said, that the next couple of weeks, with the exception of the next 2 days where it'll be rather warm or mild, the next couple of weeks looks like it's going to be either near or even a bit below normal temperature wise. So not yet. If you're thinking about, breaking out your air conditioning, maybe putting in the window, or if you have central air, uncovering the main unit outside and opening up all the vents, might be a little early for that because it looks like we've got a cooler than normal airflow to deal with. And as Joe pointed out, a week from Thursday, and again, that's quite long range. We're talking about 10 days from now. But if that upper trough does indeed verify and sweep across the Northeast, that really is a chilly looking air mass for our area.
Meanwhile, just going back to what's going on tonight, this is at 2 a.m. The GFS at 2 a.m. with a 979 low in northwestern South Dakota. But I just want to point out, this is not radar echoes. This is heavy, basically measuring out heavy rain. But just to reinforce what I said earlier with regards to the fact that these storms are just not going to die at sunset. They're going to be fired up through the evening and overnight hours as the low rotates and the front swings eastward. And then, of course, you get that arm that lifts up towards the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley tomorrow, which is where we're going to see the risk for severe weather. And then a Wednesday with the upper low generating another surface low there in Indiana. So here comes the next round of severe weather, which then shifts to the east with the risk area Wednesday evening from southern New York, from southeastern New York, from Albany southward, going down into the southeast. And then Thursday, depending on this low track, you see how the GFS has the low in central, northern Ohio, and then it goes up into northwest Pennsylvania. The warm sector is just literally, if you wanted to draw the warm front here, in my mind, this is the Thursday afternoon. There's a warm front snaking. Come on, there we go. I just get my thing there. But there's a bit of a warm front that's snaking right across northern New Jersey, just south of Long Island, maybe cutting across New Jersey in half. So if that's where the warm front is, your severe storms are going to wind up being to the south and west of that. But Joe, the warm front could also just kind of be pinched just north of New York City, which could bring a severe weather threat Thursday further north. And then, of course, you've got the upper trough lingering on Friday with some showers. Saturday looks okay. That's a surprise. Saturday looks okay. And then another front with some showers coming in and maybe a thunderstorm on Sunday. So I guess right now we could say that Saturday will be the better of the 2 weekend days. And just my curiosity makes me want to go toward the end of next week just to see what the surface looks like by the time we get to Friday. Oh yeah, look, there's a 540 thickness there that drops down into northern Michigan. And yeah, I mean, this is a strong cold front with showers and storms if this were to verify literally as forecast by the GFS now, which we know it's going to change to some extent. But it does signal something around the 16th, 17th. So this would be Thursday. This would be a week from Thursday with a strong cold front coming through and a 540 thickness right to New York City on Saturday, May 18th. Oh, is that going to make people? That's going to make people feel really nice. They're going to be thrilled about that.
Couldn't do it in January or February, doing it with just a few weeks to go before Memorial Day.
It's just really and we should say
don't show. By the way, I'm sharing something right now, but don't put it on the screen yet, Joe.
Oh,
I'm a state of annoyance right now because I want to show a video, but to go along with the video, there was some dialogue, which I said, okay, I can't share this and show the video and read the dialogue, so I decided I would copy block the dialogue.
Oh wait, what kind of video is this?
This is a picture of some damage that was done. Okay, this is what happened to a car that was ridden by the daughter of a man, a father, and he shares an emotional video. Now you could put it on the screen. I can run the video while I read.
All right. Well, hopefully it's not copyrighted, because the other day I showed something, and it wound up being copyrighted. But go ahead.
I don't think this is copyrighted. I mean, it's on Twitter. Why would somebody put something on Twitter and if it's copyrighted? But this is an emotional video of his daughter's car impaled by a guardrail in Gibson County, Tennessee. And he said, my daughter called me in the morning. She was just saying over and over again, Dad, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This is from Kevin Mullins. At the end of the video, Mullins panned over to his daughter sitting in the seat of his car. As bad as this looks, as bad as this is, I want you to see something. You've got to see this. this was the car that my daughter was in. Kenzie McMullins walked away from the crash with just scratches and bruises. And take a look at that. Take a look at that car. Isn't that
Wow.
just
Was that weather related?
I I'm it was in Tennessee. I
I mean, the road looks wet, so
Yeah, it may very well have been weather related. I would think that she hit a slick spot or whatever or hydroplane. Anyway, it's in the same it's in the same area, the same video of when I do searches for what uh, Dr. Cohen puts, you see all of these weather related things. So I guess it is weather. I mean, you can see here. You can see I'm sharing the screen here.
right, right.
So all of this stuff is, I presume, weather related.
Well,
I
what
mean,
does
why
it
would
say on the caption? What does it say on the caption of the video? There's some scroll there.
uh,
Did you read that?
all it says is Colin Rugg, father shares uh, video of daughter's car impaled by guardrail.
Oh, okay. Oh, just thought
Yeah,
maybe we get a little more information on what
I mean,
that was.
why would they put that there? Why would it end up in between um, tweets concerning the high risk area of tornadic activity here, and right after that, they're showing the future spin model.
All right. Well, we'll have to. I'll have to call Elon and ask him about it
Yeah.
because we're you know Joe, you know Elon and I are very close, and I mean
Yes.
he watches this show continue whenever he can, Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. and the occasional Friday and Saturday when there are storms about. So anyway, got my chance to do a shameless plug. Uh, Big hellos to everybody, even though now it's at 8:10, right? Or 8:18. I'm sorry,
818.
8:18 Eastern time. So I hope you're enjoying tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. If you like the show, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss us. As I said, Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. Eastern time. So let's do a little Briller Jeopardy, shall we?
Yes, surely.
All right. So let's see. All right, so here we go. We're still on this annual precipitation by state. Okay, annual precipitation by state. And tonight's first state is New Mexico,
Oh God. Well, uh,
the land of enchantment.
I'm going to say 12.
Well, that's actually, I think, a fair guess. It's not the right guess, but it's a fair guess. Vincent Croce hits it though right off the bat, 15. So you weren't that far off. You were in the general's vicinity therein.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and of course, New Mexico is known for Albuquerque, where Bugs Bunny should have made the left numerous times and didn't. The next state on the list, well, up until very recently, it never rained in New York. We didn't have storms that produced rain and snow. The People's Republic of the State of New York, Joe.
All right. Well, how about 45?
Um, well, 45 is
I didn't say 35. I said 45.
no, sorry, it's 45. 45 is a good guess. It's not the right guess, but it's a good guess. Mark Franz Sr. says 47, as does Miss Fallerite. But Frank R. Nails it with 42. 42. Next on the list is the great state of North Carolina.
North.
North Carolina.
Hmm.
Nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the morning.
How about how about 50?
Um, 50 is a good guess, and it's a correct guess.
Really?
Yes. So
Bring
you
it
made
in. Yay.
yes, very good. 50 for North Carolina. Now comes North Dakota as opposed to South Dakota. Tonight we're doing North Dakota. North Dakota.
I would say North Dakota. How about how about 19? In fact, I just said 19, and Patrick Darcy came up with 19.
And Chuck Cardillo also came up with 19. And Jason Fox came up with 18, which is the correct answer.
Wow.
18. And last but certainly not least is the a state that only has four letters, right?
Iowa?
No, the other one,
Oh, Ohio. Oh.
Ohio. Round on both ends and high in the middle. Ohio.
Latex streams, we're not doing temperatures. We're doing precipitation totals for each annual precipitation totals for each state. So Ohio. Oh,
Ohio.
yes. Uh,
Tyler Fienga has 42. Christina Pedius is 34. Chuck Cardillos is 31.
I would
Vincent
say
Cro- you're going to say what?
40.
Well, 40 puts you and Vincent Croce at 38. Both of you are in state country.
Oh, so
Uh,
that means we had a Jack Benny.
that's right. It's a Jack Benny. William Uber also said 38. And Steve Lapointe. I haven't seen Steve on the board in a long time. Hi, Steve. Vincent Croce now and Tyler correct their numbers to 39, which is the correct answer. 39. 39.
I wonder how many people on the chat board are saying right now, who's Jack Benny?
Every year that goes by, there are more and more people on that list that people will say, "Who is?" and then fill in the blank.
Right.
We're getting older and older and older.
Yes.
Oh, good Lord! All right, so just one last check before I say good. We say good night. Just want to see tornado warning for Grant and Kay counties in Oklahoma. This is it's 8:23 Eastern, folks. So again, you're watching this on a replay. It's dated severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. There's a whole bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings up, but that's the last tornado warning was issued 12 minutes ago for Grant and Kay County. So the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast is brought to you by Mr. Rayo. Is brought to you by who?
Oh, it's my turn to do the commercial here?
Well, do it and do it fast.
All right. Well, we are brought to you tonight by the folks over at Tempest. You can get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing network on the planet. And if you use the coupon code SPRING 2024, you will get from any product line on the Tempest list. How much, Joe?
10% off.
Oh,
And
see,
and
he does
the
it as I do.
and the link is pinned to the descriptor of this podcast. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, just to let everybody know, if you can't watch us on YouTube, you can always watch us on or listen to us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any place that they call podcasts home. We're there. We're even on Amazon Podcasts,
Yes.
an iHeartRadio podcast. So we will see everybody tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m. Night.